In this video, we're going to be covering a downward 1 to 2 handoff with a hand roll. In a previous video, we've already covered the basic upward 1 to 2 handoff on the same stick and the opposite stick. Now we're going to cover the downward handoff, but we're going to add the hand roll to it as well. So, we're facing forward, doesn't really matter. We're going to hold on to the chuck and we're going to start that downward 1 to 2 flow. If you don't know what any of that terminology is that I just talked about or any of those techniques that I talked about, please make sure you click the link in the description below. Work on that before you come back to this. As I do this 1 to 2 flow, I'm going to toss that hand roll when it goes to the opposite side of my body. I'm now holding it in the negative. I take my opposite hand, I go palm up, and I toss the opposite stick into that hand. Then I continue that downward 1 to 2 flow. So from the side, it'll look like this, downward 1 to 2 or a figure 8. Once I get to here, drop the hand roll when it's on the opposite side of my body. Turn my free hand palm up, my thumb is open. I catch the opposite stick, then I continue the flow. Now once you've done that, you're going to do the same thing on this side. Continuing that flow, once it gets to the opposite side of your body, drop the hand roll. Take your free hand, go palm up, and toss it into that hand. I grab the opposite stick and I continue the flow. So all together nice and slow. Once it gets to the opposite side of my body, I hand roll. I'm now in the negative. Toss it into my opposite hand and then continue the flow. One more time, hand roll when it's on the opposite side of my body. I'm now in the negative. Free hand goes palm up. I toss it into my free hand. Now I'm in the positive with that hand and I continue the flow. So what that'll look like, nice and smooth from the side, figure 8, downward figure 8 or downward 1 to 2, hand roll, catch. Then I continue the flow. Hand roll, catch, hand roll, catch, hand roll, catch. And it's just me passing the chuck off after adding a hand roll into that 1 to 2. The fun part about doing this kind of stuff is you can take this and you can incorporate it into your freestyle, which I suggest you do in every one of these techniques that we work on. Take the technique, practice it by itself, make sure you're doing it on both hands. Once you've got it down 10 out of 10 times without dropping it, and you've got it down on both hands doing so, take it and start incorporating it into a freestyle. Any of the stuff we worked on. So up to this point, if you've already been following along, right, we have things like a finger flip, which the tutorial's below. We have a throw, which we've talked about. We have that 1 to 1. We can turn that into a 1 to 2. We can add the hand roll, add the hand off. Then I can go upwards, right? Pass it off to the other hand. I can pass it off to the other hand to the same stick or the opposite stick. Doesn't really matter. But I want you to take this and I want you to just start playing with it. The reason we're doing this isn't really for self-defense. I'm not doing this because I'm going to go hand roll to defend myself. No, that's ridiculous. The reason I'm doing this is to help me with my dexterity and my hand-eye coordination, and it's just fun for me to do. Alright, so enjoy the videos, have fun working on this particular technique, keep the martial arts legit.